Welcome back to The Real Grind, guys. This is the show where we talk about real estate while we sip on the best cup of coffee. But today, this is a special episode because we're celebrating all the moms out there. And if you're watching this, congratulations, mom. And you're just, Italo, I know your relationship with your mom, man. Just come on.
Yeah, she's
Share it out.
First, she's the one that introduced me to coffee, so thank you, Mom. I gotta thank her.
Now you geek out.
Yeah, so my mom and I have a really big bond. Whenever I was born, I'm gonna make it very quick. Whenever I was born, 7 days later, my mom almost passed away. And for that, I have a tattoo exactly where she has the scar, which is kind of what brought her back in, but that was because the way my birth happened. So long story short, but very thankful for her. Thank you for everything you've done for me to this day. And much love out there.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And we wanted to celebrate. And guess what, Italo? When we talk about moms, you usually think about good stuff, home and stuff. And you think about sometimes ice cream.
Absolutely.
You know? And this, what's the name of the blizzard? The blizzard, which is, I was so confused that this is Italo. Go ahead and let me try it here real quick.
So
what is the trick?
I'm gonna do something here that Neander didn't know about it, but it's been a couple minutes, so let's see if it goes through. If not, it's gonna fall on the coffee cup. All right. It's not supposed to fall out. Just a couple drips, but yeah, it works.
So the person that we're gonna bring in here, her family, her father is one of the founders of the awesome Dairy Queen, and we're gonna talk about this, how he started his business and how she watched all from the beginning. But before that, let's get the show started. Let's go.
Waking up to success, now we're getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on, go and make coffee. The real grind, this is the real grind. Let's go.
And her father is one of the founders of Love Dairy Queen. She's a mother and a wife, which also I have the pleasure of calling her my American mom. Welcome on the stage. Peggy, let's go. I'm sure, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Have you had any of these guys before?
Just a couple. Just a couple.
Just a couple. This is delicious. And you know, Italo's like, Italo, you got to go there this morning and just get a couple of, but it's going to melt. I was like, so he ran out real quick. Well, I hope you guys, great that you guys got here a little earlier and he will be able to do that. And I can't wait for you to share the stories because, you know, every time I connect with you, you share a bunch of the stuff. And every time I hear such great stories about it. What a beautiful business that you guys. Actually, I went to China and I took a picture there with Dairy Queen. Remember?
Yep,
Sent it to you?
yep.
Yeah. But Peggy, with no further ado, I talked a little bit about your beginnings, like where you're from and, you know, and the little Peggy there.
Little Peggy, I was born in Iowa, small town right on the Iowa-Illinois border. Grew up there. I moved away when I met Dave, and got married and moved away. My family all I've ever known was a family business. From the moment I was born, that's all that it ever was a family business. So I grew up in that. I worked for my family for many, many years. I started when I stood on a little crate and dipped dilly bars on Saturdays because I was too short to reach the counter. I guess the thing that sticks out to me the most about being in a family business is it's more than work.
Yeah.
It's more than a business, it's your heritage. It's a part of who you are. And now it didn't come without difficulties and frustrations. Sure. I think I quit and got fired as many times, you know, when I became a teenager. My dad and I butt heads a few times, but there was so much pride in it.
Sure.
It was so important.
Absolutely. And when was the year that you guys actually came to Texas?
It's been almost 30 years. It's about 28 years ago now.
Yeah, and I want to come back a little bit here, and I want you to say the story, and I will compliment, but how we crossed paths, and Me and you and Dante and your beautiful family.
We were attending a church in Capel. We needed a new music minister, and Dave was on
She's an
the
amazing
elder
singer,
board.
by the way.
He was on the elder board, and he was part of the interview process for the new music minister. And in walks this, as he put it, very young man, and they were thinking, well, we'll see, but and
He had hair at the time,
Yeah.
so
he did.
definitely full
And
blown hair.
they were so impressed with his talent. They were just blown away by it. So they hired him. And Dave, I remember coming home from the meeting saying, you won't believe this, but we interviewed a young man for the music ministry position, and he's from
So
Brazil.
was Dave part of the interview?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yep. And he said he's from Brazil. And I said, oh my gosh, that is amazing. And I don't know, we just clicked. We just clicked right away. There was something about him, and then he brought you in on the band. And it was, I don't know, there's something that clicked. And I was thrilled at the time. Marcus was pretty little. And I was so thrilled at the time too that we became so close, and it kept him in that Brazilian culture. There was
Yeah.
still going to be that connection for him. And that was just exciting. But obviously as the years have gone on, we have become so close, and you and your family now, and
And I don't think Marcus at the time had a lot of Brazilian or interaction with other Brazilians, right? It was I think we're
just from you guys.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
And I remember playing Marcus playing the violin. It was so cool, man. It was so cute. How old was he there? It was when I started. It
I'm trying to
probably
remember. Well, he's 30 now. Sorry, Marcus. But I don't know.
yeah. He was young, but it was the violin. So, but it was awesome to have, and that church was just a great culture. You know what I mean?
Very
Having you
family.
guys, and you know what was interesting for us, and that's one thing I was talking to Italo, us that migrate to another country, and we just have sometimes we come with our families and sometimes we don't, and we just build relationships for people that become sometimes more than family, and that is very special because sometimes it is we're all human beings, we need that bond, and I'm so glad that we crossed paths with you guys, and you guys took us as we call your mom, and that's why you're here for the special of the Mother's Day, and we're so thankful to you and beautiful
I'm very
family.
humbled. I'm very humbled.
And
by
it's amazing. And then one time, it was like, "What's your mom think about all this? Because you hang out with us and all the special days. She love it." And as a matter of fact, not too long ago, right, we were
Yep.
doing an event, Italo, and I don't know if I told you this, Italo, but we were here doing a market post, the last one, and Peggy logged in, and my mom, and there I think was just both of them in the beginning. And they were like waving to each other because we didn't allow the microphone to.
Right.
But yeah, it was so cool. And my mom was like, "Oh my God, I saw Peggy." And I was like, it was so cool, so cute. Like, she really loves and thankful for having you guys in our lives too.
Well, it was funny because there was a couple of other people on that Zoom at the time.
Oh, you was?
And they're just kind of sitting around, and all of a sudden we saw each other right away. We're like, and then your mom's going like this,
that's
and those
so-
other people are probably going, "What are those two doing?"
Well, then imagine there are two different continents, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And
yeah.
I know, and I told Dave, this is so cool that because I feel like because of you, they're our family too.
Yeah.
And I told Dave that night, it's so cool because we have family in Brazil. I mean, I don't know, and Dante's family too. It's
Yeah, of
just,
course.
it means so much to me.
And every Thanksgiving, Mother's Day, when I'm here, like, and it's funny because everybody that's around me knows about you. I think it was funny because you went to Ariana's birthday party last year, and you're like, "Oh, so many people knew how I was." Yeah, that was cool. And Peggy, and how was the initial? Talk a little bit about your father, like his involvement in this business, and how was actually the story of Dairy Queen. Let's go back a little. Like, how was the story of how Dairy Queen was found?
My grandparents, when they owned a milk business.
Okay.
And it was called Mildred's 4-Star Dairy. The 4 stars were their 4 sons. And then they grew into Meadow Lane. My maiden name's Med, and it was called Meadow Lane Dairy
So
Stores.
the 4 stars was that your dad was one of them.
My dad was the baby of the boys.
Okay.
And then they went into Meadow Lane Dairy where they bottled. They pasteurized and processed their own milk and bottled it. And then they had stores in both eastern Iowa and western Illinois that they sold. It was a dairy store, but they sold all kinds of food products too. And we had our own ice cream. We had our own like sour cream, all that kind of stuff. And all kinds of whipping cream, that kind of dairy products. But
Yes.
they also sold small food items too. Well, then Dairy Queen started. A friend of my grandpa's.
And what year was the dairy? Like around what period
Dairy
of time?
Queen started, I want to say it was late 30s, early 40s.
Okay, wow.
And a friend of my grandfather's they came up with the idea of soft serve. That was the new thing. And they had a small dairy store in, it was either in Joliet or Green River, Illinois, I don't recall, that they had a one-day sale of these cones. And thousands of people showed up because it was such a novel and new thing. Well, the McCulloughs patented the soft serve machine,
Yeah.
and that's how my grandfather got involved in it. They owned multiple stores in the state of Ohio. They actually owned the rights in the state of Ohio. And then they sold that and continued their franchise rights in Iowa and Illinois, or eastern Iowa and western Illinois, so they could stay where they were from and with family. And it just grew over the years. My grandfather actually, I found the legal document. My grandfather coined the original phrase, the cone with the curl on top. And they actually owned the rights to that phrase for a while.
Really?
But one day, and in the 80s, my dad had this idea about somehow you should have a high-powered mixer that could mix hard candies in with the soft serve to make the Blizzard. Because a regular malt mixer, we tried it, and the candy would just fly out. It wouldn't like
crack it or
break through the
it.
cup.
Yeah.
It was a mess. So he was toying with the idea. He found an engineer in Iowa, and they worked together to draft the prototype. And my dad then, he did get the patent for the prototype, and then he took it to International Dairy Queen, and the rest is history.
Wow. That's amazing. So he is the one that call it the inventor of the Blizzard
The machine, yep. And then they said that and the little phrase, it's upside down right thick. So that was the whole thing. They were supposed to serve it
Was that
upside
the
down.
Italo-
Yeah, you were supposed to serve it upside down to show that it
And
would
by the
stay
way,
in
I
the
was
cup.
like, I kept having my kind of side to Italo. He was just going to town with that thing over there.
But I mean, I have a Blizzard machine at home.
You do?
Yeah, it's upstairs in the man cave.
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
Yep.
And I want to see it. I don't think you probably showed it to me because you have your
okay.
little Dairy Queen spot
My
in
little
there.
shrine, yeah.
Which is it's going to be a museum soon. That's cool. But before that, guess what time it is?
Coffee time.
And, pause. She does not like coffee. So that is going to be a challenge here. But Italo, challenge accepted? Accepted. Let's have the coffee time.
Peggy.
Yes.
How are you?
I'm doing well, Italo.
Thank you so much for coming.
I'm very honored.
And Neander is right. I was going to town. I haven't had like Dairy Queens in so long.
Me too. It's
So
been
long.
like for a long time.
And
That's great.
I told Neander about the whole upside down thing, and he didn't know about it. And I was like, man, by the time I get there, I need to put this on the fridge. He cannot see it. I don't think this is gonna hold on, but it's either gonna be a hot mess or it's gonna work out. So when I flipped, I was like, I think this thing's
And
gonna
you know what? I saw you right on top of the coffee, the filter, right? So it's like, well, maybe it's gonna be an ice cream coffee right there, man. Is that?
Well, I'm gonna start doing that with the coffee now. I'm gonna show people that coffee's good. I'm gonna flip it and see how it goes.
Let's see. Let's go.
But What is cool, Peggy, about this whole story before I talk about coffee here, and I want to say thank you for being what you are for Neander, because when I first came to the US in
Easy.
2003, I had host moms, right? I was hosted by 5 American families. And to this day, which is funny, Neander, saying that, because when I'm on Facebook, that's usually how I interact with my mom the most, my family the most. And my mom will see people saying like, hey, son, thank you so much for this. Hey, son, how you doing? I was like, who are calling you son? I was like, oh, that's my host mom. So, because I was like, oh, thank you, mom. So, and my mom would translate the comments. And then she really understood the idea. So she embraced it, just like Neander was saying. And they were so thankful that we have this kind of support system in the US so far away from home. So we're very thankful for y'all for that. Truly appreciate it. Truly
Just when
appreciate
we were
it.
about to leave, right? The first thing your mom said, "Oh, be careful. They're worried that and having."
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely. So here's the challenge, right? So on this challenge, there are 2 things in here. This is gonna be brand spanking new. Never heard of this coffee before. Met this pilot at the airport. Saw him carrying 20 pounds of coffee, just like I was on my carry-on. And we struck up a conversation.
We're not
He's
gonna
like,
get high in this coffee, are we?
hopefully not.
Okay.
It passed through customs, so I think we're on the clear.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But he was like, do you really like coffee that much? So I told him about the podcast. Like, okay, give me 10 minutes. You have 10 minutes? Like, sure. He's like, okay. In 10 minutes, this guy showed up at the airport with a bag of coffee for me to bring it to the show. So thank you so much, Hasha and Oscar. Appreciate y'all. So Peggy, here's a coffee for you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Do you drink like a lot of stuff with sugar?
No.
Okay, so this is already a good start for us. And what we're gonna do here is give it a good smell.
It smells amazing.
It's different.
It's different.
I think it smells good though.
It's different than what we usually are. Because here's another deal. Time out. This comes pre-ground. We don't like coffee that comes already pre-ground, but that's all he had. Because I like to grind my coffee right there before then. So, but let's see. Let's give it a shot. And
So what you gonna do? He was gonna, just like your mother said, and you would have said to us not to slurp, but slurp as best you can. Slurp as best as you can, because that just for that first one. That's how key grade is done, and then let the coffee top of your tongue slide to the sides.
Okay.
Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Does it taste like your regular black coffee, like dark?
No.
Isn't it a little fruity, a little bit?
But you know what's throwing me off a little bit? I've been having ice cream the whole time.
Oh.
So she's probably having a
palate.
different...
She doesn't like it. Tell more.
No. No, which
You know
is...
what though? Here's the thing. It tastes like the coffee my mom and dad used to drink.
Really?
That's what it smelled like. That's why I loved the smell.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
I
the,
said
the taste was still not there, which is okay. It's
No,
okay.
which is
It's
okay.
fine.
But you know what's funny? On my way to Dairy
Drinking
Queen
other
just
stuff.
now,
I need my phone to record Dave's face right now. It's so hilarious.
on my way to Dairy Queen just now, I was looking on my Instagram and my mom just posted a picture of this baby like this, and the caption was, "Me when I try to drink coffee without sugar." I was like, God dang it, I can't even drink my
Shit just took a reputation, bro. Like,
I was
oh
like,
wow.
Mom. But I understand. It's something that is harder to get into, especially when the coffee is already pre-ground and all that. But I'll take up on the challenge.
and find one that I'm gonna like.
No, imagine if she has the one from Fredericksburg.
Oh yeah. This one is for me, like, it's not my favorite coffee, but it's all right.
It's a coffee that I'll make espresso with it.
Yes.
This is not a coffee that I'll make
that
in a
you mix
pour over
with-
like I did.
because this is like reminds me a little bit of a dark chocolate. It was a little bit more bitter than.
That's exactly what it is. It's caramel, chocolate,
Yeah.
Jabuticaba,
So-
which I have no idea how to say that in English. They don't even have that in here.
But the thing is, what I'm saying, if I drink it with the milk, right, then we'll balance it out. There won't be like a chocolate milk.
But for a
Anyway.
pour over,
Yeah.
it's okay. But I would definitely love to try this as an espresso. I'm gonna give this a shot.
It's okay, Peggy. We're not.
No,
gonna
don't.
judge
you still
you.
love me?
You, hey,
I'm 100%.
but this, no,
you don't
this-
need a drink. You can put it.
No,
up.
but here's what we tell people on the show. You need to be real. Like some people don't like it, and it's
Yeah,
okay,
it's
you know. And you're just not
But
gonna
you-
get any
you-
more coffee from me.
Okay, so I'm gonna have a number 2. So pick up the best coffee we have.
Right there.
Yes.
Okay.
And then at the end of the show, I have her sip one more time, just one more
Okay,
time.
I
She'll
will.
sip it.
Which one should I? The one
You have some
The
new
first
ones.
one, I think, the first one was really good.
Actually, the one we drank with the, yeah,
I got you. I
super
got you.
dry.
You'll be surprised.
Okay.
All right. Challenge accepted. There'll be a part 2 of this. I'm not going home without you saying like, this is okay. At least I need at least an okay.
Whoa, that's gonna be fun.
That'll be interesting. No,
Yeah.
I will try. Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, but Peggy, thank you so much for being here again. Happy Mother's Day
Oh,
to
thank
you.
you, Italo. I appreciate
We
it.
really appreciate you. I've heard more about you than you probably think of. Before I even like got to meet you, Neander, like he said, he always talks very highly about you and your family. You guys are amazing. And
Thank you.
once again, I want to keep hearing that story because I was at the Dairy Queen. I told the girls like, guess who this is for? She's like looking at me like I was bullshitting her. I was like, you don't even know. Follow us on the podcast.
There's
and you're gonna find
actually,
out.
in the Dairy Queen stores, there is media of, they're like, that you buy through the franchise. There's some hanging up in our media room at a home, framed pictures, and there's one is my grandfather and my dad's oldest brother standing next to a big, huge Dairy Queen sign that they were going to hoist up onto a store. That's in all the Dairy Queen stores. And then there's also another one of my dad's other brothers standing at a soft serve machine making cones.
Nice.
And that's in all the Dairy
I
Queens.
should know that. I'll be like, where's this picture? You better show me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Awesome. But once again, I want to keep hearing the story. Neander, thank you so much. I'm coming back for
Okay.
you.
All right.
Hey guys, real quick before we continue. So if you want to learn a little bit more how to get started on investing in real estate today, please go to their website, multifamilyempire.com. And if you also want to learn how to do the best cup of coffee in your own home, we're going to teach you a lot of tips and tricks. Go to multifamilyempire.com/forward the real grind. Let's get back to that interview. Peggy, the story gives you better and better. So what is your interaction having, you said something earlier about being a family business, and is that legacy, that the name and everything, and you know my children, obviously, your grandkids, but sometimes I think about it, it's like, man, is this, takes me a lot of time to develop our businesses today and our on other initiatives and such. And sometimes I'm like, man, am I being present and I'm spending enough time with my own kids? But the other day I saw this guy talking, Grant, which is, I don't know if you know who he is, but he says something. I don't have a business and a family. I have my family in my business. They're super involved and they know everything, and they go when I need to travel. I take them with you. They're homeschooled, and he has a private jet. So it's like my nanny, which is a very highly educated, she teaches my kid homeschool. They're always with me, So I have my family in the business. That kind of give me a little bit of a comfort, to know that, man, if this is, we call it a building for them, but I'm still trying to be a better, be more intention with what I'm them. So it's more quality over quantity. But in your family, which you guys probably very highly involved in the business, and you started to even work on the store. How was that interaction, or how was that part of it, family and business?
My grandfather was a very stubborn man, and he was not one to give praises easily. I don't think I ever got any praises from him, but that family interaction, that family business, there was still it was, like I said, it was our heritage. It was who we were as a family. It was so important. And you just respected him. He didn't get any further than the 8th grade. He had an 8th grade education. And my grandfather managed to build this business and build a family. And the fact that all 4 of his children were so involved in it up until the day they all retired and sold the business.
Yeah.
It wasn't always easy. I will say my dad was gone a lot. Not that he had to travel out of town, but because they had so many stores that there was a lot of outside of the office. If there was an issue at one of the stores, like we'd be sitting down eating dinner, my dad would have to get up and leave.
Really?
And he also got involved in city politics because he felt that being a business owner, it was important to be involved in that. He was an alderman, but that took him away more from us. My mother was a stay-at-home mom, so we always had my mom there, always, always. I never felt that I needed more of my dad's attention. I always knew I was loved. Absolutely. That part was always there, always, always. And I think for you and the girls, that's just important that they always know that how much you do love them. And I've witnessed that with you. You are such an amazing dad. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
But then when they get older, and I love the little clips you've had of them with the coffee and Boo Boo saying, I mean, it was so cute. I just loved it. Yeah, it was so cute. I just loved it. And then Mia with the little cup. It was so cute. You and Delia are doing an amazing job with those girls. And I think it's important that the older they get, like that your friend said, bring them into it. Let them be, even at a young age, if there's little things that they can do, let them be a part of it. And so they know that it's a part of who they are as well. Don't let it be separate. And that's why I guess when I started working for my dad, like I said, I was little. I stood on a crate on Saturdays dipping dillies. And then I went to work for my dad as an actual clerk when I was 13. I started working in one of the stores. And I remember even when our Meadow Lane stores, when on Christmas Eve, we would be open till 4 o'clock.
In the morning?
No, during at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Oh, okay.
And we would open, and my dad had a lady that
Christmas
worked.
Eve.
Yeah, Christmas Eve.
Yeah. Because usually
And-
things like don't even open.
Right.
Yeah.
And they gave the normal person, the regular lady that worked the day hours, they would give her the day off. And then one of my sisters and I would usually go and work in one of it was their original store on Christmas Eve. We loved it. We absolutely loved it. And it was a special time. I mean, I don't know. There's
You
just.
get to do that customer service, like wish people, Merry Christmas or
Yes, and it was so much fun. Everybody was always in a good mood. They were buying last minute little
Grateful,
food
yeah.
things for their Christmas meals. But I am so grateful that I had that opportunity to work in my family's business. I'm still to this day, as old as I am so grateful that for the work ethic that was instilled in each one of us. That maybe sometimes was a hard lesson to learn because when you're a teenager, you don't want to learn those lessons, but it was still taught. And I will forever be grateful for that. And my dad always, always supported us. Even when he was mad at us for something, he always supported us. And I'll never forget, I had a customer come in the store, another local business owner, and I'm still friends with his son, because that was one thing. Wasn't that small of a town, but enough that
They
we
knew
kind of
who
all knew
you are,
they
right?
knew who we were.
Especially you guys
Yep.
own those stores.
And he came into one of our stores, and he asked us for a special favor of something, and I wouldn't accommodate him. And he was livid, and he goes, "You're Ron Med's daughter, aren't you?" I said, "Yes, I am." He went to my dad and complained, and my dad told him she did exactly what she was supposed to do.
Damn.
And I'll never forget that. My dad, he backed me up. And that's just who he was. It was like, we weren't to tick him off, but by golly, don't hurt one of us, because he would come after you. But that was in the business especially. I mean, he just,
Right.
it was.
But
and
empowering you guys, right? And he's showing by the example too, because he was, by what you said.
my dad was a
such
hard worker.
Hard worker guy,
Yep.
and that.
Yep. And I just think that's something that, like you said, you want to be able to balance the two.
Yeah. Now, tell me one example that you got fired or quit. You
Oh,
said that
gosh.
yourself. Just one.
There was, I
Just
don't know.
one.
My
Tell
dad
me
and
just
I,
one or a couple.
I mean, sometimes I think my mom even said, "You're so much like your dad. The only thing that sounds different is the tone of your voice." And my dad and I would butt heads about, let's face it, I'm a little stubborn. And we would butt heads about things, and it wouldn't necessarily even be an argument about work. It would just be an argument, and my dad would say, "You're fired," and I'd say, "No, I quit," and I'd stomp off, and then the next day I'd show up for work. I mean, I quit. I know. My dad would say, "You're fired," and I'd say, "No, I quit," and then I'd show up for work. I mean, it was just.
And he would pay you guys for the work, or?
Oh yeah, I got paid. I had a paycheck.
Nice.
I think I started out at 13. I made $1.10 an hour. And I got moved up to $1.40, and I thought, wowzer.
Holy shit.
And as soon as I got a paycheck, I was somewhere shopping for clothes. Things haven't changed.
That is so cool, man. That's so cool. And sorry to ask, but when is your father passed?
In 2016,
2016.
he died very suddenly. He was supposed to have surgery. They did a chest X-ray and canceled the surgery and told him he had a very large mass on his sternum. He went to an oncologist, and the oncologist told him he had 2 weeks to live. So two of my sisters still live in my hometown, and we live here, and my other sister lives in North Carolina. So my other sister and I traveled back home and spent the last 2 weeks with him. So
And how old was he?
my dad was 85.
Yeah, 85. Which, is that okay if I show that video that you sent me?
Yeah,
of,
absolutely.
So right
Very
now
proud
we're
of it.
gonna go share that
It was
video.
at my sister's Dairy Queen. The live shot of the customers, that was at a different Dairy Queen because my sister was closed for the winter. But the rest of it was filmed at my sister's Dairy Queen.
All right, let's watch.
The machine behind this delicious treat was created by a man in the Quad Cities, Ronald Med.
They're all selling the iconic Blizzard that our father developed.
He came up with the creation back in the 1980s.
It evolved into the spindle and the motor that he then developed, and it worked, and they patented it.
On Monday, the man behind the machine passed away.
He was very proud of his accomplishment, as we all are.
The Meds are one of the founding families of Dairy Queen.
And Dad and Jean and Ralph.
The business stayed in the family. Ron's 4 daughters remember working for their dad at the restaurant.
If at one location someone called in sick, well, here we go. We're going to call Gail today.
They say their dad was a hard worker who taught them to have a strong work ethic.
You hear people talking about being born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Well, we were born with a plastic spoon in our mouth. And I'm very proud of that plastic spoon.
Even after he retired, you could still find Ron here at the 18th Street Dairy Queen.
And the one thing that I will miss is seeing his little black Volkswagen come pulling in the lot. Just to stop in, have half a Diet Coke and a chocolate cone, and say hi.
Now, when a blizzard is made, you'll always remember the man who made it possible to enjoy this tasty treat. In Bettendorf, Christina Hepner, WQAD News 8.
That's such incredible story of, and like I said, it's like, aren't you proud that the business is all over the world? Something that...
It's humbling because, it was my dad.
Do you actually go once in a while to the store and order something, or?
Well, not as often as I should. Well, I shouldn't say that. I still love it. Absolutely love it. And absolutely one of my favorite things is a hot fudge sundae with whipped cream and nuts on top. It's like my absolute favorite. But I don't go as much because I know I shouldn't weight-wise.
Yeah.
Because I'd eat it more often.
Right. It's just delicious,
Yeah.
and no doubt. And a question for you: did you ever thought about taking that career or having stores or something on an entrepreneur related to Dairy Queen?
I
You
had
thought
a
about
Dairy
it?
Queen. I leased one of my own from my dad.
Oh, you had one.
Yeah, I had a Dairy Queen.
Okay.
And
I did not know that.
yeah, for several years. It was a lot of work. I met Dave, and we moved away. So I
You venture off and
yep.
That's awesome. I'm glad you did, because
So-
otherwise I wouldn't get to know you guys.
No regrets.
No regrets.
No
yeah.
regrets.
I try to talk to the Elliot's like, I'm not super obsessed if Ariana or Mia is gonna take our business, and I don't care. Like, whatever you want to do, man, it's cool. I'm building this. Eventually, is gonna get to them. At some point, till I'm dead. Not. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But I'm not super. Yeah, some people are very like, oh, my kids got to take all this. And, we had actually all the interviews here in the show that people came from real estate and transferred on and such. But, I just, whatever, if they want to do, we're definitely support. Peggy, this is the part that we're going to get to know a little bit,
Oh,
put
no.
you on the spot.
I knew this was coming.
Of course. And this is the Spilling the Beans with Peggy Goodwin. Let's
Okay.
go. Let me position here. Fire. Boots or tennis shoes?
Boots.
Check. Porsche or Corvette?
Corvette.
It's easy. I don't know why the production keeps booking those questions so easy. You know what I'm saying? On wine, red or white?
I like them both, but I tend to drink white more.
Know you so well because I can answer until now for you. Hillsong or Michael W. Smith?
Michael W. Smith.
Shoot. I knew that. All right. Cheddar cheese or provolone?
Cheddar.
Iowa or Texas?
Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
That one I would get wrong. It'll be the gang. Okay. President Obama or Donald Trump?
Donald Trump.
Let's go. I know that one too. Evenings on Peggy's backyard or a 5-star resort?
Evenings in my backyard. Yep.
100%. Baskin Robbins or Dairy Queens?
I'd have to go with Dairy Queen.
I know. And that completes the spin. That was super easy. We should have some more tricky in there. I should have called you, Marcus. And Dante or Neander?
Yeah.
Hey! Pause.
Yep, cut.
You're about to be just like my coffee, ground.
Okay.
Burn. That completes the Spilling the Beans with Peggy. I'm honored to have you in a program, and I know when I called you, you're like, are you sure? I was like, I knew it was going to be perfect because this means more than, the business and everything. We try to talk a lot about real estate, but, you are a very important part of my life and with your family. And thank you for loving our family. Thank you for loving my kids. And it's just,
I love you guys so much. And when I hear the girls, Grandma, that just warms my heart. Warms my heart.
And, this is a Mother's Day. And I know I'm thank you also to my mom. Ci amo, mãe. Thank you for
Love you.
everything. And
Love you. I know.
but let's try up a little. This is the last session.
Okay.
And this is something that, I tend to always be improving myself. And with our team, we're improving ourselves. And I know we grow. And, but if you have to look it back and it's like, if you could talk to yourself, give her a advice, what would you have to say? Look at that.
Wow.
Very short.
Maybe too many things to say, but God, you make me cry.
Crying
Just
too.
appreciate your family more than, and realize the people around you and your family are more than anything money can buy.
Absolutely, 100%.
No matter how much money you make, you have to work. You have to live comfortably. You have to survive. But your family and your friends, absolutely the best gift God has ever given us.
And you guys are hearing this from a mom that her heart is full, overflowing her love. Thank you for sharing. Thanks for being this wonderful person that you are. And congratulations for having a beautiful family, a history. And we love you.
Love you back. I'm humbled. Thank you.
And as we finished to the show, we talked about the moms, the mother that raised me, and the mother that actually kind of takes care of me here in the United States, my American mom. But I need to point out for somebody that actually gave birth is the mother and my beautiful wife, the mother of my two beautiful daughters, Mia and Ariana. And I'm so grateful for you. It's not just to be the mother, but being my business partner, being my better half, and the person that makes me happy and who I am. And of course, again, the mother of the two most precious things that we have together. And I want to invite her on the stage to give her a big hug before we end this episode with the love of my life. Delia, let's go.
Thank you so much for watching the Real Grind podcast. For all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day. Mom, thank you so much. Mãe, te amo. Obrigado por tudo. And yeah, this is the Real Grind. It doesn't get any more real than that. Let's go.
If she doesn't like it, I'll shoot her the looks.
Okay. It's a lot of pressure, man. This better be good.
Okay. All right.
I'm ready.
I'm not.
No, he's scared. It's like his
All right, Neander.
shot, right?
Here. So no,
Okay.
I got you. Okay. This is for you.
All right.
All right, this one is gonna be way different.
It even looks lighter in color.
Yep. This, like you can see on my cup, looks like a little tea.
Yeah.
All right.
Are you ready for this?
I want to
ready.
hear that slurp.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah. It's better than the other.
There we go! Mission accomplished. Let's cut, say the door. Thank us for watching. This is the Real Grind.
Let's go.
Cheers.
Waking up to success. Now we getting it started. This is the real grind. Everything you've been wanting, building an empire, no question. Talking about real estate, investing, making the millions, no stopping. While we sip on gold.